Welcome back. Welcome back, huh? No, I'm going to do welcome back because we do what we normally do, have an argument off air, then it's like welcome back. Good morning. Welcome to Community Voice. I'm your host, Keith Parris. I want to thank everybody for joining us this morning.
Do you?
Yeah. Man.
I was just checking.
Yeah. Welcome. Free Flow Friday. Devo, DJ.
Hey, good morning.
Jermaine.
Yes, sir.
Sitting up here trying to figure out these overtime rules.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and Debo just told you the overtime rules.
I'm reading. Old people, man. Old people.
And so y'all wonder why I get frustrated.
I am reading from the NFL, the official site. So let's say
you know when they be like, see, but when the white man tells
you went back to 2020.
Can we have a white caller come in and verify? No, but
you white.
No more than 1 10-minute period will follow a 3-minute intermission. Each team must possess or have an opportunity to possess the ball. The exception is if the team that gets the ball scores a touchdown on the opening possession.
Said that.
But in the playoffs,
both teams get
the ball.
Yeah.
So
that because if you remember in the Super Bowl, that's why they hopped on San Francisco. Why would you take the ball first? Because now you're allowing Patrick Mahomes 4 downs every drive to score a touchdown.
Right. And as long as he gets the first, he out there.
Right.
He's steadily moving. All he needs to do at this point is get in field goal position.
You give him 4 downs, because they scored a field goal. So, a touchdown will win it. But now I got 4 downs the entire, so
that rule change was 2022 for the playoffs. Sorry about that. For the playoffs. All right.
How are you gentlemen doing on this fine Friday morning?
I'm all right.
And y'all sound real enthusiastic about life this morning.
People still trying. We still got a hangover, man.
You still rocking and reeling from the election?
Working through that.
Yeah, man. I'm still under the unbelief system.
You know what?
4 years to believe it.
Because it happened before. The first time it was disbelief. This time around, it was some other thing.
Well, the only reason why I say the unbelief system is because I've never heard, and this is just me, I've never heard so many black men say, I don't want a woman to tell me what to do.
Like they don't have a mama.
That's why. That's why.
Or a wife.
Or a wife. That's why.
Mama.
And they had said, women go through their monthly cycle. She might get mad and push the button.
For that, first
and
of all.
That's what I said. I said that too. Then you had the person say, she's trying to turn our kids gay. I said, this is unbelievable. So they called her all type of B's and said, I'm not voting for that B. I would rather vote for Trump.
It just says, and I said it before, I certainly tip my hat, if you will, to whoever ran Trump's campaign, because it became a mud throwing, smearing, lies from every angle.
Well, I was with Keith after Election Central, and I told him, I said, Trump, dudes, commercials were certainly more damaging.
Than
the
VP.
Yeah, even when you look at choice of words like czar, that always has that.
I mean, I laughed at a couple of them, like
conotone.
She's not for you. She's
for them.
They.
Yeah.
I laughed at that. Like, y'all, they really.
But how they spent it was that the world is going to be in trouble. And then I was telling the young black men this. I said, do you hear the words that's coming out this man's mouth? He said, they coming over here taking black jobs. He didn't say white jobs. He said black jobs. So the jobs that they are taking are those jobs.
The question becomes, why couldn't it just be jobs?
Jobs, right. But listen, the jobs that he are talking about are those jobs of them picking oranges and picking, working those low wages jobs, and black folks are not going to work those jobs. But now what they don't understand is you're going to be pushed towards those jobs, because those are now your jobs, because those are the black jobs that they was taking.
They do all them jobs. Ain't nothing they won't do.
At the end of the day, you get the job that you apply for. If you're not applying for those jobs,
that's a good point.
If you're not applying for those jobs, then you're not going to get
Listen
it.
here, man. You can apply for a federal job
but that's
in the bank, and you still won't get it.
No, but I'm saying the first step is to apply for the job.
Man,
we're talking about a lot of jobs that
you're going to
don't
be
even
forced.
apply for.
Wait, right now, but when you're forced to, because when your money is low and you can't get no other job, and the only job that's available are those jobs, you're going to be steered in that direction. So you're going to be forced to apply for those jobs.
How many black roofers have you seen?
Well, I did roofing for about a year and I hated it. It was the worst job.
Come on, man, answer the question.
No, I say about 3 or 4. I mean, that I've personally seen.
Most of the roofers I see
are
usually Latino.
Yeah.
And because I was
I
was trying to figure out, how they make money when they do roofing, because when they did our roof, I'm trying to think what we paid for it. I'm trying to figure out then how do you make the money? And the average roofer makes about $13 to $14 an hour.
Well,
now if you try to do your come up, that's pretty good money. That's steady money. People are gonna get out and work. But if now we don't have where you see a lot of black people want to be roofers.
Yeah.
That type of work. You see some brothers out here, some sisters too, out here doing construction.
Yeah.
Road construction and that kind of thing. But no, it was a lie. We, if like you said, man, if you want the job, you apply for it. And just because you apply for a job don't mean you're gonna get a job.
But the first step is to apply. And like I said, a lot of these jobs that we have been talking about, I know I ain't applied for. And I don't, and to be honest, I don't know nobody that have applied for those jobs. So we complaining about stuff that don't even
apply to us.
Right.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, DJ.
One of the issues you also had was the lies that they were talking about FEMA funding.
Oh yeah.
When you have people coming in, they're asylum seekers, they're being relocated to different cities. Part of that is FEMA takes care of that.
Yeah.
And so when North Carolina happened, Helene, and was it Ian?
Those hurricanes.
That when those hurricanes happened, they were saying, "Oh, you don't get the money because they're giving it to illegals,"
and that was a lie.
That was a lie. But people, that's what you want. And we were saying they played to our fears, and both Dems and Republicans do it.
Yeah.
The fear that the fear that Democrats played to was that if Donald Trump gets in, the world is over as we know it. It's the end of the world. And I feel so. I think it was on both sides. But when DJ and I were looking at the election results, they were showing, they would do a comparison between where Clinton was, where Biden was.
I saw that.
And then, currently where Harris was. And you could see that the little slippage, she'd be 2 points behind, 3 points behind where he was in 2020. In a marginal election, that's all you have to do. And then you get this surge of 18 to 25-year-old white dudes who normally would not vote, but showed up to vote. So it was those margins. Someone said, well, if he, and they're blaming Joe Biden, they said he should have earlier said, you know what, I need to step, I'm not going to run again, which would have opened up, and who knows. And then it also implies that Kamala Harris wasn't a good candidate. And Kamala Harris was a very good candidate. She was a very good candidate. She ran a very good campaign. But it's like, we talk about it. You playing sports. You got a 50-50 chance of winning until you actually play the game, right?
Right. And I always say it's a competition. And so, there's something that, if you lost, it's something that you could have done better.
Right.
It's a competition. And so in hindsight, maybe if Joe Biden would have got out earlier, but also if there was more of a positive push behind Kamala before the endorsement, because remember, a week before he stepped down, we were talking about this, and it was a resounding consensus that many people on the Democratic side wasn't rocking with Kamala. Vice President Kamala Harris.
And
so that played into it too.
But that would have been with
Yeah.
probably any candidate that you're going to
But
have.
you guys
got
to realize something. If you remember, even when he selected her as his VP candidate, there was talk then that if he didn't finish out his term, she would be, and folks didn't want it then. So from the inception of that ticket, there was always pushback against her.
Well, I honestly think too that, to be honest with you, and this is just my thoughts, I think she was already out of it really because of these three things. One, she's a woman. Two, she's a black woman. Three, you have people that look at Trump as like a god. So when you have people that look at this man as a god, they're going to do whatever to make sure he gets in. And I was telling somebody, I was like, isn't this the same election that happened in 2020, the same process, but all of a sudden it's not rigged anymore?
Yeah. Well, let me say though, but Hillary Clinton won the popular vote, 3 million votes. Joe Biden won the popular vote, 7 million votes. Donald Trump won the popular vote, 3 million votes.
Unbelievable.
No, if you look at what we were seeing, when you began to see that it wasn't erosion, but that little nibbling off, you could see where it was on the margins.
But it was the same, about 30,000 this year as it was in 2016. So I look and say, man, did people really not go to vote?
A whole lot of people did.
And I won't.
I mean,
even
a lot of
say
people
that,
did. No, wait. A whole lot of people did because they told me from the people that I spoke to, it's like a good 7 to 8 people that I spoke to that said, I'm not voting because one, she's a woman. Two, I don't like Trump, so I'm just gonna sit this one out. I mean,
but I guess the point that I wanted to make, Jermaine, is when you really look at that, you saw Hispanic voters who leaned heavily towards
Hispanic
Trump.
Men.
Yeah. Okay. And you also African American. If you looked at the numbers percentage wise, they were up. Black men's votes were up, but they were for Trump. Hispanic men's votes were up, but they were for Trump.
Yeah.
I think the point Jermaine is making, she's a woman. If we haven't, we need to. She was a woman. She was Asian. She was of African descent. She was from California. I mean, there were things that a certain demographic would be repulsed by.
Yeah.
But I think under the circumstances, she should be applauded for the race that she ran.
Yeah.
I certainly do.
It was going to be tough. And then when you look at it, remember that little stat I had cited when they were doing an exit poll, and they were saying over 60% of the people that had a very negative view of Joe Biden. And a lot of it was, and then it really came down to the economy. That people, when they were doing the exit polling, they said the number one reason they were voting was the economy, even though it was getting better. People weren't necessarily feeling that it was getting better.
This is one of the things that I said that is going to like annoy me in the coming years, because the economy is going to get better, but it was going to get better no matter who's in office, just because of we're still dealing with the backlash of COVID and inflation and things of that nature. So as time goes on, prices will begin to dip. I could have been in office, and it would have been. I could have been in office.
See, but here is the problem. These two things.
He can't
right
even spell office. Talking about what I couldn't have been.
Me?
These two things right here.
OFF.
These two things right here.
ICE.
FIX office.
What you saying, Jermaine?
I was going to say it's these two things right here. Trump is going to raise. He's going to put tariffs on people, to which is going to raise the prices for us. So the economy is not going to get better. Two, Elon Musk said out of his mouth that under Trump, it's going to be hardship for a while. People need to learn to live within their means. Because it's going to be hardship for a while, but it's going to be better for the economy going forward. What are people not paying attention to? Hardship means it's going to be harder than what it is.
because he knows what the economic impact of a tariff is going to be, or tariffs are going to be on the economy.
And
now you hope
a billionaire could easily say that too.
right. You could
Yeah, because it ain't gonna affect him. And
Right.
then he talking about cutting $2 trillion from the.
Oh, you're looking at a tax cut because it looks like the Republicans are going to control both the Senate and the House. So
Yeah.
you're looking at another tax cut coming, and that impact that it could have on the economy, we don't know. Look, if it had it not been for the Fed, raising the interest rates, that's what really rang the inflation out the economy. And so the short term was it might have been more difficult for you to borrow to buy a house or to get a car, but
the midterms are in 2 years.
Yep. And that's the other thing, that then incumbent presidents lose seats in Congress in the midterm, and because he got
some of those,
that's how Nancy Pelosi became. Yeah, she regained
some
some
of those
House
senators, because I think it's the Senate that comes up next in 2 years,
and House.
And the House, everybody in the House is running.
Okay, so guess what? If things are not shaping up and so forth and so on, some of those guys are going to fall on the sword.
Oh yeah.
I think
It happened to
Ron
Obama.
Johnson should be up, right?
Ron
6
Johnson
years
is up. Yep.
because Senate is 6 years. House of Reps is every 2.
And the fact that Tammy Baldwin
and that
was able to
keep
eke out.
That's exactly what I was going to allude to. When you look at the fact that you can, Tammy can keep her job, and yet Donald Trump wins the state of Wisconsin. This is why
that happened in 2020. Though.
No, but this is why they call us a swing state.
Right.
It's one of the main reasons that it wasn't done by party or any of the above. You saw, a Democrat win and a Republican win the state.
Mm-hmm.
But didn't,
did the same thing.
What happened with Mandela?
Mandela lost, but Biden won.
Biden won. Yeah.
So I mean, it's the same thing that happened in 2020.
Scott Walker won, and I'm trying to remember who was on the presidential ticket. I think we put
Obama.
Okay, yes, we put Scott Walker in, and Obama won the state.
Yep. I think that, and I would even, and this is like we always talk about the difficulties that Black men have in this country, but when you think about it, the first Black person elected president was a Black man, and maybe even then there were probably some people out there who could see themselves voting for a Black man quicker than see themselves voting for a white woman or a Black woman.
Before we go, I'll just say that we got to stop putting extra burden, extra emphasis on people that look like us. We hold us to a higher standard than we do for everybody else. And I'm just saying that for when people talk about the president-elect, how they were talking about him, they didn't hold him to that same standard that they was holding to VP Kamala Harris.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's like, come on, man. If are we gonna have consistency? And if we not, then just say that.
No, we're not. Caller, we see you. And then when I get back, I need to do a quick cleanup on aisle 6, but when we get back. All right, welcome back to Community Voice. Caller, I'm going to get you in less than 30 seconds. Let me do a quick cleanup on aisle 6. Yesterday, I was going on about my wonderful wedding, and I said I was married on April 4th, 1995. I was actually married on April 8th, 1995.
Damn, bro, what is wrong with you?
I know.
4 days
Trying to
early.
get-
But no,
Hey,
we gonna blame
hey.
it on the election.
Hey, let me.
We gonna blame it on the election.
Man, no.
Yeah.
Why you keep forgetting to give me a little juice, man?
You got juice though. You
I
lied
can't
on
hear
the record.
myself.
You can't hear yourself in the building.
We gonna
So I got a question for you, Keith.
Okay.
How'd the couch feel last night?
tell him he run the house. He the man of the house.
No, you can't get the you can't get the
Look,
you can't get the
I-
wedding date wrong, man.
I misspoke. I didn't get her name wrong.
Thank you.
Damn.
That's it,
Yeah.
man.
All right.
He put you underneath the couch,
Right,
didn't
right.
he? What are you
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah.
Like you in the doghouse with Sylvester.
Right. That
Jesus.
look like I got
So
the name
Keith,
wrong.
Keith, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Who brought it to your attention that you
I caught it on the way home.
caught
Smart
what?
man, Doc.
I caught it. I was thinking, I go back over the program.
Smart
And-
man.
and
In your
so-
mind? You
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, smart man.
And so when I talked to Rhonda, she said, I said, man, I'll clean it up
Say,
tomorrow.
baby, I got you. Don't even worry about it.
So in
he
essence,
talking about he gonna be a no.
he caught it on the way home. Yeah, he caught it all right.
He caught it and addressed it when he got home. So then when he get
Boy.
here,
That's right.
He caught it all right.
Hey, Debo, everybody don't live in a house of pain.
there you go. Here we go. Here we go.
That's why his boy
Well,
be out.
And the reason why the house of pain is because he be talking. You know?
Mhm.
No, Keith. No.
That's why he talks so low now.
I know my wedding date is August 3rd.
His
What year?
wedding day is
I'm
August
not going
33rd.
to get it wrong.
What year?
Now you might have me on
It's
that.
August 33rd. He didn't tell you that. It was August 33rd.
Ain't no 33rd.
I wouldn't know the year.
Right.
I
That
wouldn't know
part.
the year.
Yeah, that's
All right,
important.
and then the other thing was we
Yeah.
were, and thank you, Debo. We played a very, very, very beautiful rendition. People Make the World Go Round by Fred White. And I did say it was, in fact, a Linda Creed, Tom Bell song. But there was another dude I forgot all about, share the same name as Ice Cube, O'Shea Jackson.
Oh, yeah. Ain't that his
So-
son?
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. that's
No,
his
no, no,
son.
no, no, no. O'Shea Jackson, this song was written in 71.
I wonder if that's his dad.
I wonder, yeah, but it was O'Shea Jackson's one of the writers on the song.
Wow.
But Linda Creed wrote a lot of great songs, man, for that
See if
Philly.
you pull that up, man.
Yeah.
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 What?
O'Shea Jackson.
People make the world go round.
Yeah, and you can just
It's in the system.
Man, I'm.
all right. So those were my cleanups. Let's get the callers.
It's in the tracks folder.
Caller, welcome to the program.
Yeah, I'm on hold.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You're on air.
I'm on the air.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Okay, good morning.
Morning.
I would like to speak on the issue about how we are so inseparate. Just going into the thought that how this man, all what he said as a felon. I think that by Donald Trump having those attorneys pull up that erected old law, they're saying that a president cannot be prosecuted for while he's doing his term. Now, the thing is that makes you king.
Mm-hmm.
At some point in time, that had to have been written out, okay? Because that means that Jimmy Carter or any what do you call that?
President
What was his name? The other president,
Nixon.
Nixon, the Watergate.
Mm-hmm.
He was forced out all of that. See, no one is challenging that. But the thing is that he's talking about making slavery. And the thing is that we have people that voted and didn't understand or seeing that Obama did 8 years. And usually 2 years, the laws come out. It used to be 5. Now, he did 8. How in the world did Trump do 1 term for anything to come out during his term? Okay? Obama written on his way out the last 4 years, for things to work better because he knew he had to protect the people. No one in the office that was high in the Senate never made that claim but the newcomers. No one. McConnell, none of them. And for to say they are in treason because they was against this person and then they wasn't with this person, they saying that they had to distance themselves to keep their job. I think that Biden needs to write 3,000 executive orders, remove Donald Trump, his security, and have him arrested. Because if Donald Trump erected this claim, that means that Biden could write a lame duck section of non-trusting value for this president under his term and elect someone else and write something in law, but arrest him right now because he's going to try to send and deport people out that actually got family, take food from Head Start, all that, education. And then the rights for a female to have without someone controlling, that's slavery. It's going to be slavery for everyone. They say when they say deportation, that means even fathers and mothers that's Haitian, Jamaican, Puerto Rican.
No, not
Mexican.
Puerto Ricans. Not Puerto Ricans. Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens.
Well, I know it's U.S. citizen, but you know, with Donald Trump, with them, they figure that whoever they catch is going to have to prove they ain't got no ID. So I'm just saying, if you seen that out of all states that he won, this is the thing that Donald Trump needs to do. He needs to arrest him because no one's supposed to be above the law. And also, Harris needs to do the same thing Trump did. Why about the turnout? Not just give in so easily.
Well, I think we got to move on, man. I mean, we can. No, not from you. No, but I would get you off. I would say we got to move on. I mean, I could sit here. You know, you had that day, but then I had to get back to the advice I give people: give the ulcers, don't get them. I'm not gonna let this dude have me miss any nights of sleep. I'm not. I gave up. I couldn't eat. Bump all that for this dude. Not really. No, that
I just warn everybody. They do wars at night. Donald Trump do stings at night, and I could actually see him with the National Guard coming in, pulling people out their house.
Well, I think Iran is worried because come January 20th, if Israel decides that they want to go after him, Joe Biden tamped down a whole lot of that. That's not going to be there anymore. So when you see that people throughout the world are concerned, they saw that video before. You know, we were talking about Project 2025, right?
Yeah.
When you begin to talk about those things that were proffered in that document, many of the people who support Donald Trump support those things, right? Yeah. And so when you said we're going to get rid of the Department of Education, they have no clue to what the Department of Education does on a federal level when it comes to certain type of funding. So if you're sitting there in a school and it's your child with special needs, that funding comes from the federal government. So the things out there where people said, look, he's talking about deporting immigrants. He ain't talking about me. So if you're thinking people going to get worked up, some people get worked up because of their sense of justice. Others are, well, you know what? They shouldn't be here anyway. So, I mean, it tapped into where people were really feeling, and maybe for us who think and feel a certain way, we don't understand. But for other folks, they think and feel very differently than we do. And in this case, it was the majority. What they did down in Florida. Florida's always about the okie doke. Oh, yeah. So they put cannabis on the ballot. They put abortion on the ballot. But you know what they did? You had to pass it by 60%. Mm-hmm. So it got to 57%. Right. It didn't get to. They knew they set the threshold so high. So I mean, the agendas are out there. The question becomes, what will people do? And will it get to the point that people are in the streets? Don't know that. if Kamala Harris would have won, we'd probably be in the middle of an insurrection right now.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it would have been. So, you know, when people are saying, you know, you ask the question, you can't be the thing you hate. And as difficult as that is, especially when you talk about a win-lose situation. But I mean, and I don't say anything crooked. I just think that there are people out there, and it exposed where a significant number of Americans are.
Mm-hmm.
So if nothing else, you know, you understand the exposure.
I think Biden should do what Trump did. You know, his last days in office, all them people he pardoned. Biden should do the same thing.
Most presidents do that, Jim.
Yeah, so
Bill Clinton did a whole lot of pardons on the last day.
yeah.
You know, I mean, so all right, man. Appreciate you. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning, you on there?
What's going on, dude?
What's
All right,
happening, man?
yourself?
Keith, everybody.
Good.
Let me tell you, when you see Migos and them on top of that roof and it would be 120 degrees, you be like, I ain't no way I'm finna do that damn job.
Right.
Yeah, I know where you are.
Dude, and if the roof is 115, that means if it's 115, the roof is like 125.
And they have a lot of tile roofs down there, right?
You said what?
A lot of tile roofs.
No, it's not no tiles.
Okay.
Oh no. And then, matter of fact, I think about a month ago, as a matter of fact, it happened in July. Police got two different times, same month, July. They put one was black, one was white. The suspects. They got put on the hot ground. They suing the police department.
Yeah.
And they weren't supposed to arrest them, so that was like 120 on the ground. It was 113 that day. It was July. Yeah. They got third degree burns. So that's how hot. So just imagine being on the roof.
Wow.
You know, we were in Panama. The man could only work about 20 to 25 minutes at a time.
Really?
It was that hot. It was that hot, and you would see.
And in this job, they don't talk about these jobs. What about the Migos that's on top of them palm trees that's cutting them?
Yeah. Oh, this.
Who ain't not no white person, no black person, only Migos gonna go on top of that damn tree.
And depending on how long he's been here, if he's second generation here, chances are he ain't gonna do it. You know, so
yeah, you're right, because a lot of them can't get real jobs, so they get jobs like this.
Well, I think the other piece of it is it's also cheap labor. You know, someone was saying, well, you're going to sit up here and stem the cheap labor coming across the border. Trust me, you're going to see wink, wink, smile, and people looking the other way. Who's going to pick your lettuce? Who's going to pick your grapes? Who's going to pick your oranges? I mean, you want them now. You could live without them. You know, I mean, but who's going to do it? And so the impact that it'll have on the economy is such. But, you know, people weren't looking at that. They were just looking at people's hate. And that, you know, we don't like others.
You know, like in hindsight of the election, and I'm just thinking back from 2016 to now, it was more of a blow. It was more of a shock in 2016 than it was on Tuesday. It was disappointment. But it wasn't shocked.
It was big time disappointment, man.
It wasn't shocked. Like, but in 16, it was on another level. Like, I always tell this story. I was at UWM, and this girl, she was crying in my arms because of the election. Now, you know, we just hear that people was disappointed. Hurt. You know, hurt, but
that people fail to realize she didn't have a whole year to get it together.
Right.
She only had a few months.
No, I will admit that she ran a really good campaign. It just wasn't good enough, obviously, because of the outcome. But she did. I think that her campaign was way better than Hillary's in 16.
Oh yeah, because in a shorter time, just imagine if she had the same time Hillary did. I don't think he had a chance.
But you know what? I think that my thing is, if they would have had more time, I saw the damage they were able to do in 107 days.
Mm-hmm.
I can only imagine if that was a year. You know what I mean? You know, so in some ways it benefited her that it was such a shortened period, but at the same time, and we asked the question yesterday, if you have someone like Joe Rogan who can tell 18 to 25-year-old white dudes go register to vote. A lot of these dudes registered to vote for the first time and voted for the first time. We asked, who do you have, the equivalent if you're trying to turn out black voters, black male voters between 18 and 25, who has that level of legitimacy where they can move, not, oh, we know who he is, but when dog talk, I'm going to move on it. You know, and I think that sometimes we speak out loud. Look, this is America. When we were talking about J. Cole, right? And he said that, hey, you know, when he hadn't voted, I don't know what election was the first election he voted in. Because he didn't vote for Obama, right? He didn't vote at all.
He did vote for Obama.
Same thing with you got Waka Flocka.
2012.
Yeah, he voted.
You got plenty of people that's out there, and you know I blame. I'm gonna say it though. I blame a lot of black men because they was putting that stuff in some of the younger folks, like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. It's a woman, don't do it. I blame a lot of older black men.
But you know what? I'm with DJ on this. Don't let them scapegoat us. You know, because there were X number of white men, right, who probably the same thing was going on. Here's the difference. They saw something. If it does matter what your gender is, man, how we respond to you, how we react to you. You know, and I was telling people, you ain't voting for a girlfriend.
Just say it, Keith, as we always said, she's black and she a woman, and they're gonna come down the race.
And Asian.
I don't care what you're saying. But yeah, and they sweeping down, she ain't black.
Yeah. So now we have
what they got. First of all,
I'm gonna tell you, but think about it just for a moment. What did it do? We started having a discussion about whether or not she was black, which what is it? It just further just amplifies or magnifies the fact that she's black for some folks.
Keith, no, it wasn't us. It wasn't us that was asking the question.
I'm not saying that wasn't, but who was that directed to?
It was directed to everybody.
But it was black people that was co-signing that though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See what I'm saying?
Well,
and like I said, my frustration is I'm sounding like Keith. My frustration is, you know, we will hold people that look like us to a higher standard than people that don't. And then we would justify supporting another person based on that lowered expectation. And I just think that's foul. You know, if we're gonna hold somebody to a standard, the standard is the standard. All right. And if somebody is I'll just say this. We know the standard when it comes to me and you, because the ramifications and the negative talk about that particular person is exponentially higher than the person that doesn't.
I'm gonna say it like this. I'm gonna say one word. Well, matter of fact, couple words. If Obama was black and a felon, none of that wouldn't happen.
Come on now.
None of that wouldn't happen.
Probably be in jail. and the interesting thing is,
no matter of fact, wait, Keith. Matter of fact, and he couldn't have voted.
Right.
Yeah, it depends what kind of felon.
Yeah, but he was already convicted. They were arguing that he's appealing it. The question becomes, what happens when he loses the appeals in New York? Okay, and it goes all the way up. So,
but can he pardon himself now?
See, no, but not for the New York charges. Not for the New York charges.
You can't. That's already convicted. He's already convicted.
Florida, D.C., those cases are going to get dropped.
Yeah, because can't no sitting president.
Right. It is.
That's crazy, man. And he knew what he was
doing.
That's
crazy.
But just like Nino Brown when he thought he was walking.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's justice.
Yeah.
There's justice.
And wait, before I leave, make sure we go watch Gladiator Part 2 when Denzel do it.
No, I do want to watch that.
Yeah, that do look
just
dope.
because he in it.
That do look dope.
Just because he in it. Well, because look what he played in Book of Eli. It was good.
Oh man, I love Book of Eli. That's a cold.
So you know it's going. So you know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Denzel's a cold actor.
That's a cold movie.
He a cold actor, but I'm telling you, I like the vicious actor like Samuel. That's my guy because he cuss a lot. All right, sir.
Yeah.
All right. He said he quit smoking weed.
Samuel?
That's what he said.
I mean, he old.
Caller, welcome to the program.
He want to get them extra years in.
Weed takes years off your life.
Hey,
Alcohol does more
all
than
I say
weed
is
does,
he's seen more days than he got coming.
I could make that.
He almost 80.
I can make that argument. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
There we go.
I had to call in. I'm just,
didn't.
you know, my concern. I think I brought this up the other day too. Where do we go? Do we keep fighting and keep talking that fight talk? We fighting ourselves when the Latinos are claiming that they had 47%.
Male
It's about 30,
Latinos.
what,
Male
32 million of them that's
Latinos.
eligible voters. Do you understand that they didn't rush to the poll because they didn't like Kamala Harris? They seized the opportunity to go, and really they voting against black. You know, they really anti-black. Most Hispanics.
No, that's not true.
They was voting against black versus white, really, if you look at it. And it's always been that way. Even if you go back and look at the old cowboy movies.
No, I think, but Meech is 45% of black of Latino males. Latino males.
That's right.
But that's significant. It wasn't all Latinos. It's Latino males. And it was a certain number of black males who gravitated.
They only giving us, they only saying 20% of the black male vote. But still, our voting base is bigger than their voting base anyway.
No.
Because we actually vote.
Well,
you know, so
not by much more. They Hispanics have the lowest voter participation in the country, but when you look at the differences, it's usually 3-4 points.
Okay, well, the 3 or 4 points is a big difference.
Well, in this election, obviously, it was a big difference. I mean, right. When you have a margin, but this election didn't come down to.
I mean, he won on a landslide. Now, the popular vote was about 3 million.
3 million.
But I mean, he won it in a landslide. So
listen,
he did pretty well. I think he 276. He just has 6 more electoral votes than what was needed.
In places like Wisconsin, we got 20% of the black male when he only got 8%. Most of the time, Republicans only get about 8, 7.5%.
Yeah, but we only make up 6% of the population. So that's not. If you're talking like Georgia, that's a little bit different.
Downplay what we did and make it seem like somebody.
No, when you say we, who is we?
No, man, stop getting in your feelings, man. He giving the whole perspective. That's what he doing. Stop getting in your feelings. Talking about, is he downplaying? He not downplaying.
Now, I'm trying to figure out who the hell we is.
I'm talking about black folk. So we don't go to the table, and I don't even know who we gonna send to the table because everybody got that attitude. They got the Muslims already came out and endorsed me, right?
Some Muslims coming out. Some Muslims. No, because he's getting ready to unleash Israel on Iran. So no, they're there, and they still have the issue of Gaza. If they think it was tough under Joe Biden, what's going to happen in Gaza under Donald Trump is a totally different animal. Because he's not going to tell Yahoo, you need to stand down. He's supportive of it. So yeah, I think that I understood where the Muslim population was. We need to put pressure on. But I think they also understand, anybody who understands the political dynamics of Israel and the Middle East.
Correct, brother. But that means they going to the table with something. We want you to hold back them big guns, man, on our folks. They going with it. They going with it.
You think he gonna listen? You think he gonna listen?
I just heard the protege get loud and cocky with me and say, "Stop getting in your feelings in your chest." Man, what are you talking about, little big brother?
Because you saying is he downplaying? He not downplaying. He just giving the total perspective of the numbers that you was just bringing up. That's what he was doing.
Well, the numbers, man, is that in places like Wisconsin, with the percentage of people that we do have, we got 20% of the black vote. Okay, in Pennsylvania, they got 25% of the black vote. Trump won a little county in Texas, man. Now, this is where your Hispanics come in that haven't been won by Republicans since 1892. You understand what I'm saying?
And if people want to say, if Latino males feel like Donald Trump is going to be better for their existence, then go on, man. Go on and do what you got to do. I mean, but the reality is that at some point it's going to get close to home. And when it starts hitting close to home, people gonna be going, "Oh, oops! Oh, I didn't know."
Same thing happened here with Scott Walker.
Well, Scott. Well, when you get to Scott Walker, the only thing that Scott Walker did that I would even consider was a mistake is when he moved the police. What was it? Where you can stay inside of you don't have to stay inside of the city no more. I think that was a bad deal. But as far as that Act 10 or whatever it was, Act 8, Act 10, Act 8 was California deal. Act 10, that don't bother me by no unions, man.
Well, I think that was one of the other pieces when you look at what used to be working class men were union working class men. We have seen a steady erosion of men, people being in unions where now unions make up only about 15% of the working population. And then when he did an Act 10, you had all these things going on, and look, there were some mayors really happy about some aspects of Act 10.
Unions are significant,
but if you can't collect dues, then that means money is not going into the political action committees.
Insignificant or they significant?
They are significant.
Okay, they are significant.
But what I'm saying is, but when you look at their growing power or their power, with the exception of the Teamsters, when you look at it, it is because we have less and less people in terms of per capita who are members of unions. That used to be one of the bases of the Democratic Party were collective bargaining units.
Even they're eroding at a magical number because these illegal immigrants is coming in here taking the union jobs.
No, they're not.
Brother, I got some buddies right now that is a union-based company, and guess what? Them people come in with them vans, man, and rent them hotels out, and they can't get to work because they charging real money. Those people are charging real money too, but they undercutting the unions, man. So who you gonna go with?
Oh, when you made Wisconsin a right to work state,
right?
That undercuts unions. That's not immigrants coming in and working. It's government policy that goes in to try to destroy unions. And if you look at the National Labor Relations Board and what that's going to look like when Donald Trump is appointing those folks there, if you're dealing with organized labor, you're going to have a very hostile administration.
You know why? Because people are coming in and siphoning off the work, man. Okay. All right, I got to get out of here.
All right,
I appreciate you, Meech.
You're listening to Community Voice. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. let me also. I'm sorry. Welcome back. Let me do this. We were at Cross Trainers Academy yesterday for Dads and Donuts. Let me shout out the good folks over at Cross Trainers Academy. They had 50 fathers out yesterday with their kids, man. Oh man, that was beautiful. So kids all day in school, right? They probably only sugar they got was at lunch. So they did donuts, chocolate milk, and we were giving out candy. I'm telling you, the energy level, man, these kids were flying all over the cafeteria, man. You know what? It is. We should be mindful that what we do impacts our children. And I was just looking at them, man, and they were just having a fall. I mean, just being a kid. And part of me was going like, damn, you're going to grow up. Life is getting ready to get tough for you. So enjoy it. But my buddies who came by kept coming by for candy like we wouldn't recognize them. Like, dude, haven't you been here before? Yes, you were. You just here, man.
I must have some good candy.
Oh man, we didn't have the greatest candy. We didn't have Snickers yesterday, but we had Skittles. Skittles was the most popular one. Kids love Skittles.
Man, that sounds like something I would have did as a kid. I'd have came with a hat on, left, and put it on the bandana.
Yeah, man, I was just kept coming like, dude, I just saw you, man. What? He said, no, that's the dude. See, we look alike. Man, y'all don't look alike. That was you, man.
That was my brother. That wasn't me.
That was
right. That's my twin.
I was too scary to try to do that. I was just gonna be bold. Can I get some more?
And I love the humble kids who only take one, and you can have more.
Yeah.
And then you got the other ones, they just a handful. Like one dude said, how much is it? So he picked up some candy. Said, oh, that was $12. He looked at me like that. He said, $12? I said, yeah, man, that was $12. You got $12. I do have an installment plan. So, give me a couple bucks and then I'll catch up with you a little bit later.
I'll come on back.
Hey, have you seen, I don't know if I asked you, have you seen Saints and Sinners?
No, I haven't seen
I have.
What'd you think, man? I started binge watch. I like
the show, but then it started to get crazy. I stopped watching it.
Which happened? That's what happened to Empire. That first season was great, and then after that, it went all off the rails.
Yeah, I would say by like the third season, I stopped.
Really?
I don't know how you can kill all those people in a town of 1,500 and nobody can figure out how they got killed.
When they talked about the baby got stolen,
yeah,
I was like, "Oh, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm out of here."
Yeah. But how about grandmama killing the girl that they buried? Right. Y'all gotta watch it, man. It is
right. Like it got like
Clifton Powell is, man. That's my guy.
Wow, I'm about to check it out.
Yeah, and I just and thank you, man. It got me through the election because I started watching that. I didn't watch any news.
Vanessa Bell Calloway is on there.
Yeah, they've had Robin Gibbons has been on there.
Yep, she was.
TK Carter.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I don't know how that flew under the radar for me.
It flew under the radar because it was on regular. What's the
Fox XF?
No.
Was it BET?
No. It's like a. I gotta look it up.
Aspire?
No, it's like regular TV type thing.
Like Bounce or something?
Yeah, it was Bounce.
Okay.
That's what it was. It was Bounce.
Okay.
That's why.
Man. I mean, you talking about mindless entertainment. Yeah. It is. I mean, just the little dude though who he wasn't Malik. Was it Malik? No, Malik came later. They had all kind of stuff, stealing babies.
Yeah, man, it got crazy. Like at
giving
first,
babies away.
It started off like a real show, like solid drama, and then they just went on the deep end.
It just went weird.
Oh no, it was. You got. How do you keep people watching? It's a soap opera.
Yeah. Okay.
So
okay,
you know what I'm saying? It's episodic. So you just keep. But man, I told Rhonda, and then I didn't have to watch the news. Yeah. And because of course when I came up for air for news, what did I predict on Tuesday? Christmas commercials have started, and they started, man. But anyway, if you get a chance, man, it is. Let me say, black art is great. Black art. I mean, some of the folks that came through. I don't know who this guy is that produced it, but man, it is. But Little Cypress, I don't know how you could do all that damage in Cypress. Yeah, I mean, just it was crazy. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning. You're on air.
Good morning. Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call. Assalamu alaikum to you, brothers.
Alaikum salam, my brother.
Alaikum salam. Yes, sir. I was just wanted to say this because I listen sometimes I don't, and there's some things that I'm not supposed to make a comment on, and I'm not. But I just wanted to, just from listening with my ears and trying to think or process what I've been hearing, not from you all, but from some of the people that call. And I'm just thinking, like, if our people are listening to or being influenced by the utterances of people who have admittedly been engaged in the, I guess you could say, the consumption of hardcore narcotics, and then you have someone who hates God, any idea about God. I don't know how you could look at either of these light posts as something that could light a path to enlightenment for you. I mean, I just don't understand that, because it's to me, it represents a complete contradiction. If I hate God, what good can I be to you with regard to your salvation? If I've been consuming, ingesting, or doing hardcore narcotics for 25, 30 years, and I'm 50, 60 years old, I would dare say that there might have been some type of physiological damage that might have taken place psychologically. So therefore, my view of things might be skewed or thwarted or completely irregular, or maybe bordering on the line of insanity. So that's just my thoughts for today. Thank you.
Stop this insanity before we go too far. Have you heard that? Great
that's
Porter.
a good song, man.
Yeah. Insanity?
Layla Hathaway.
Layla Hathaway. Oh, man, that's a good one. Call her up to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
From my point of view, and I'm going to be kind of controversial, in my eyes, God is nothing but a no good nigga. And I'm going to stand on that. I have 3 questions. He's a no good nigga. I'm going to tell you in a minute. I have 3 questions. Do you feel people who are undereducated and goose-like, do you feel there's an infection when it comes to basic common sense, which is the first question? The second question is, a woman that Donald Trump pardoned, she said a woman's place is in the household. I think she just wanted to say that she was black, she was lazy, she was codependent, and she chose to settle for kibbles and bits and be nothing but a toilet to a man. And usually when that man dropped dead, they're dumb as bricks and they have no problem solving skills. And the third question, from Cecil John Rose to Prince Leopold, people suffering 400 years. Let's not forget the massacre that started in the late 1800s that went all through the South. Let's not forget he kicked everybody out of heaven, and he bragged to the devil about genocide on the innocent. And the way I was raised, anybody who brags to somebody that's beneath them, that's nothing but a no good nigga themselves. Do you feel that he is peasant and nigga worthy? Because, see, I always thought. No. So what is he then?
He being who? Who's he?
God.
Because in my eyes, I don't think he was there. He was never good for anything. I think he was a peasant. I think he's a liar. Everything he says, talk about all this, he hangs with the exact opposite. So why would people depend on somebody who let people rot? So I tell people, when it comes to the Bible and God, he's nothing but a peasant and a no good nigga. Because if you are a good person, you just have to do right by your heart, not follow a book or a scripture. Because even if he was 33 and he hung with nothing but disciples and none of us was there, that's not even masculine energy. And I'm just throw a table and break a window.
But if so, then why talk about it? I mean, if you feel like that is that God is not effective, that well,
because people, because a lot of people say, well, you got to follow the scriptures of God. Well, from the people I see, they don't let people follow.
A whole lot of people don't follow those scriptures, though. I mean, I think it's up to the individual. how do you get to your spiritual space or peace? That's on you. And there are many, in my mind anyway, there are many different paths to be able to do that. I asked a question a couple of Fridays ago and I still haven't gotten an answer. Show me where God has intervened in the events of human beings. Show me where you can say that is God.
And then I always
maybe God doesn't get as involved as we want to believe God does.
Because people always say depend on God, and I always say, well, before I depend on anything like that, I would depend on myself.
But for some folks, that's all they had, Al. I mean, to maybe not for you. You had a different space, but for a lot of people, that's what they had. Would I say that? When I look at, I call it slave plantation religion, where you just have this blind faith in God, and but your reality isn't that. That is not how you comport your life. So I think that is one of those things where religion, your whatever you do, your philosophies becomes a very personal thing. But for some people, that got them through, and I'm not going to minimize it.
But your God walk is a faith walk anyway.
It's a belief, it's a faith.
And moving forward. And so you're not always going to get answers. You're not always going to see things right then and there. I mean, there are many, many lessons that have happened in my life that I didn't learn at that specific point. It was as I got older. And that's not to say that God wasn't with me when something negative happened. No, a lot of times there are lessons and things that happen. And then to Keith's point, a lot of times, sometimes it wasn't the devil. Sometimes it was me making poor choices, poor decisions. And we can't consistently blame the devil or whoever else for negative things that happen.
Superstition helps us to try to understand what we don't understand. But we don't have to be as dependent on superstition as we are. So that means a lot of things you can explain. Like I've said this before. Just because you can explain a miracle doesn't mean it's not a miracle. I can scientifically tell you this happened, but when it happened for me, it becomes a miracle. So it's really my lens and how I look at the world, because I'm with you, Al. For 230 years, we were enslaved, and it was brutal enslavement. And somebody had to ask the question, where is God? Right? I mean, and that's real. But then we received religion that says, oh, he's in heaven, and you get a chance to go and be with him in heaven. And think about it. But that gave people, I would kind of say, like a false hope, because guess what? It didn't change my immediate condition. I was still an enslaved African going through these brutal conditions. Where is God? People ask that question. It's fair, because again, it is not so much God as much as how we have been taught about God.
Okay, and then my last thing is sometimes I think it can be a psychological mental warfare, because I tell people all the time, before you depend on any entity, you depend on yourself. And anybody who tells you somebody is bad, you might want to pay attention, because they always say, well, Satan is bad. I'm like, well, God and Lucifer is the same person, let the truth be told. But you have to look at, if somebody keeps telling you somebody is bad, is it because they know the real secret? Just like when they told Adam and Eve, it was already people there before them.
Well, that's why we don't use Adam and Eve to try to figure out how existence was created. It was a book. It was a book written by people who in some ways were very ignorant when it came to science. We understand that the world was not created in 6 calendar days. That doesn't make God any less God. It was their people's understanding of God. And so, and I think it's the same thing. It's fluid. Like you use this term good. Good is fluid. Good is relative, because what's good to Al might not be good to Keith. And then you talked about common sense. Well, if common sense, what it said, if everybody had common sense, everybody would have it, or something to that effect. Your moral system, how you comport yourself in life, really then comes down to, as DJ was saying, the things that I've learned, can I apply them to my life? But here's a reality out here, y'all. A lot of times we sit up here looking for Superman. Superman ain't coming. There's a whole lot. Look, we created the situations we found ourselves in, right? So then when I ask, when does God intercede? Where you go, hey, I mean, it doesn't have, God was not involved in this election. These were human beings, right?
Yeah.
So we'll say it was the devil if Trump won, and we'll say if it was Kamala. No, it was neither. It was people who decided to go vote for a particular candidate.
And I'm just going to say this. If I was going to be religious, I put my money on Satan before I put my money on anybody else. And one more thing, I wish they would stop telling women that their place is in the household, because you was not put on earth to be a toilet and listen to somebody snore and start all night and live your life standing behind a man, because that makes a lot of women jaded and bitter. You don't walk behind him, you walk next to him. And if he's moving too slow, you leave that nigga right where he at and don't look back. Let him rot like a euthanized dog in an emergency hospital.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it. Caller, thank you for your patience. You're on air. You're on air. Thank you for your patience.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was listening pretty good.
Wow.
Now, you were talking about, okay, first of all, let's turn this phone down a little bit. First of all, I wanted to say, I think a woman cannot win in the United States because a woman is too passionate. You know, I think a man is a warrior, and a woman is passionate because we're the ones, we have the kids. We go to 9 months, we birth them, and if we had to stay at home, you know, with the kids, so we ran the whole life with the kids while our husbands went to work. And so I think it's that issue of compassion that they're worried about, and which they should have some. That's why I look at it, because I think if they had it, you wouldn't see the wars you see.
I think a woman could win. I do. I mean, we are in the aftermath of the former President Obama winning.
Mm-hmm.
But look how long that took. That that didn't just happen, you know, in 20 years or whatever. That took, I mean, how many presidents is going to be 45, 46 presidents, 47 presidents, and however many years that amassed, you know, to just get to 44. So it's going to take it was going to take some time for a woman to become president, and I still think that a woman will be president moving forward. It's just that, you know, it is going to take time, and this just wasn't the particular candidate that, you know, majority of the nation was willing to ride for.
But there is, I think that for men in America, there is a certain insecurity. And when you look at the progress that women, hold on, let me finish. When you look at the progress that women are making compared to certain segments of men in this society, women are in effect moving and kind of getting to the point that Al is talking about, particularly white women, right? You know, so
I think that's just an excuse, and that's just BS.
No, I mean, it's real.
Look,
it's real to those people, man.
If we look, majority of these men, right, supervisors are probably women. Majority of their teachers were probably women. Obviously, they have mothers and grandmothers. Those are women. So they've been listening to women majority of their life, probably still do right now if they are at a workplace. Like I always say, all of my supervisors have been women. So for me to say, oh, I can't listen to it would be the dumbest thing for me to spout out. And so,
but think about all the white men who do not have female supervisors.
That's just a crazy excuse.
So they don't have that lived experience that you have.
Yes.
I mean, and I think the other thing is that who's supposed to be the head of the household? Men.
We talking about running the country. We not talking about the head of the household.
Yeah, but how we run
business.
We run our house.
We talking about business.
But I think
so if you run your house like a business, then
hey, wait. Now, I was working. I started in '69. I worked at Allen Bradley, which is Rockwell. And when I started in '69, all the supervisors were men.
Right.
And so somewhere along the line, we broke the barrier. And so we started ending up with a few women, not very many, but just a few.
Right.
But my point is, you know, at the time I started, people that started in 72, they told them they were going to move the job, you know, out of the country. So all this was figured out. What I'm saying, all this was figured out even while we weren't thinking about it. You know, even this stuff with Project 2025, that's been going on for a long, long time. It didn't just start.
Right.
And all this stuff that Trump is doing, he's got his lackeys doing it, and they give him the playbook. You know,
but I think,
just saying a lot of stuff is going on, huh?
If you look at who some of the support that Donald Trump received, particularly from males, it has a whole lot to do with how males see themselves in society today. And I think that if now, maybe, you know, I might be secure. I'm comfortable. DJ and I've talked about, we've had female supervisors, so I'm comfortable with powerful women.
All of my supervisors have been women.
But trust me, there are a lot of men who are not comfortable with powerful women, whether they be Latino men, whether they be black men, whether it be white men. That's when we were having that conversation with Leah and Kwaku to act, you know, we act as if, oh, no, I want to be the head of my household. They told me that men are supposed to lead. And we have been programmed to believe that men are supposed to lead. How do you change that thinking where it doesn't really matter who the leader is, it's the skills, but no. And then we'll get to white men should lead, right? Because who's led this country? White men. It's iconic. It's what I see. It's what I've been programmed to believe. How do I push back from that? How do I become secure where if I'm a white male and my father made more money than my mother and she stayed at home and now my wife is making more money than me, that throws off some people that the so-called natural order, because men should be in a superior position.
You know what's funny about that? So I was in a diversity class at UWM, and we were talking about gender roles. And I was like, well, gender roles do exist, but I don't think that it's like hardcore, because I come from a single parent household where my mother did everything. You know what I mean? And so there were times where I was little, she was out shoveling snow. Now, like as I got older, me and my brother was shoveling snow. So I was explaining that it was this military guy for only the purpose of this conversation I'm gonna bring up. He was white. He said that he only feels valuable because he came from the military and he has solid health care to provide for the marriage. Outside of that, he doesn't feel valuable because she makes more money than him. And then I told him, I said, dude, I'm pretty sure I speak for everybody in this classroom. She did not consider health care when she said, I do to marry you. And he just looked at me and everybody like shook their head. And I was like, when we talk about marriage, that is two people accepting each other to move forward, no matter, you know, from their current circumstance, and then obviously to move forward to improve that circumstance. It's not one singular thing that's just like, oh, well, they do this and I don't, so it's over. I'm pretty sure a lot of conversations have, even if they wasn't spoken about verbally, they ran through each other's mind.
So let me ask you a question.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to get too deep in your video. So if this is too personal, let me know. Who's the alpha in your relationship?
We don't even look at our relationship like that.
All right.
Who's that? So when you say alphas, what like?
Who's the person that makes most of the decisions?
We just go with the flow.
I wanted to believe that I was the alpha.
It's really always the woman, to be honest with you.
And here's what she does.
It's always the woman.
She will, you know, certain decisions I need to make, right? But most of the other decisions she's making.
Yeah.
And so, but power dynamics and relationships are real. And when you get to the point where you're comfortable enough with the other person,
but you obviously make decisions based on if your partner will agree to it or not. Like I'm just not. I'm just. Why would you automatically go into a decision knowing that they're not gonna rock with this anyway?
Have you ever heard this term? And women use this term. They say it's better to ask for forgiveness than to ask permission. So what does that mean?
You just do it anyway.
I'm gonna make the decision, and then you're gonna deal with it. You deal with the consequence. And I'm not putting that all on women. Let's not be pejorative. But I'm just saying.
I'm not trying to deal with that.
No, that's true.
I'm just saying.
I would rather avoid an issue. So if I know, let's say she's allergic to fish or whatever, I'm not gonna say, "Hey, you want to go get some catfish?" Oh, you're allergic. So how about we go somewhere else?
Oh, look at you, man.
You're
one of those sensitive brothers, man. That
okay. I guess I'm sensitive. I'm a Scorpio, so I guess all Scorpios are sensitive.
I'm sorry, dear. Go ahead, dear.
Look, I've been married 47 years, and I'm about to dominate. I always have to stay on my husband. And in fact, I stayed on him to keep his job. That's why he got a pension. Because like I said, when I started, we had pensions and stuff going on. We had good insurance. But after the job started moving away, they started cutting our insurance. We were retired then. So then we ended up paying more because once I got 25 years, I was supposed to have free health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
That left. And these are why the union busting was important for the corporations because they didn't have to give us all this stuff, you know. So
yeah,
it's a lot going in. We just have to read and research it.
Okay. All right. We appreciate you.
Okay, then. All right.
All right. You're listening to Community Voice. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Community Voice. I've been over here, man. I'm going to write these folks a letter. They saved my life. Saints and Sinners saved my life because I didn't have to watch news. I just watched that. No,
I didn't even know that show was still going on.
No, it isn't.
It stopped?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just
I'm
in
glad y'all
syndication.
told me about it.
I'm in season 3 right now.
So how many seasons is it?
6.
See, because I used to binge watch.
I stopped at about 3.
At 3?
Yeah.
Now, I used to binge watch this show called The Wire.
Oh, man.
Man, I mean, I watched it all the way to the end and then
saw
watched.
The Wire.
Oh, my God, bro. You got to get.
The Wire is considered one of the best television programs ever.
Man, listen, man.
Oh, boy's in The Wire, though.
Who?
Jabari? Little light skin.
Oh, yeah.
He's
sure is.
He was in The Wire. No.
No, but I know who we talking about from The Wire. That cat,
right? The light skinned dude.
Yeah. That was the cat that was in the corner. Yeah.
Okay. Because it's a dude named Jabari up in the program.
Who was in The Wire? He was in The Wire. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
No. It's the actor. He's the same actor that was in The Wire.
Yeah.
And then one little dude, Malik. No, who's the not the entertainer, the other dude. Because there's one dude that was in the first I'm trying to think of the movie where Eddie Murphy's in and he's going and tricking the guy to confess.
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, it was Eddie Murphy. But the dude
Beverly Hills? No,
was it Beverly Hills Cops?
I think it was Beverly Hills Cop.
And he had the whole camera set up and he was like,
I think that's
but the little dude that did the confession, he's in it too. So whoever this dude was, he was.
I ain't seen that show in so long. Man.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you. Saved my life.
You're gonna love it, bro.
Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning. You on there?
Hello. Is that me?
Yeah, that's you.
Listen, I just want to say this. I just want to ask you guys a question. As far as Trump said something about no tax on overtime and no tax on tips
and Social Security.
And he's going to cut the corporate tax rate. How is that going to be paid for?
Good question.
And another question. This is to Meach. I don't think you really know what Act 10 did to a lot of working class families. How much it hurt working class people that work for the city and government agencies.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say you don't care, that shows a lot about you and your character. I don't know if you're a private business owner or whatever, but if you did some research on what Act 10 really did and how much it hurt a lot of working class people, you might change your tune. And my final question is, somebody please tell me, what has the Republican Party done for working class people? They want to take away health care, affordable wages, living wages. I can go on and on. And this thing about the overtime, can his administration go in and change the National Labor Relations Board as far as, after 40 hours, you're supposed to get time and a half? Can they go in and revamp that whole thing?
Yep.
Yeah. That's why he says no tax on overtime, because if you eliminate overtime and make it all straight wages, you won't get no overtime.
Well, here's the other thing. When you said no tax on tips, we're talking about restaurant workers. Thank you, Herman Cain. The Restaurant Association had it. May he rest in peace. I know his family. But they went in where, I think it's $2 an hour and then it's tips. Why not just say, get rid of that $2.45, whatever it is that you make, and just say, pay them minimum wage or prevailing wage.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened during COVID, that people went in, though normally they get $2 hour, now they're getting $20, $22 an hour because they needed the workers.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. When it comes to labor, that was that change on the Supreme Court. Everybody was talking about abortion, but there are labor laws, there are regulations out there, and you have a very sympathetic Supreme Court, certainly to business interest. And business interest is not always in the interest of the worker. So when, Act 10, I said it, Act 10 was one of the most ingenious little piece of legislation I've seen in a long time. Caught everybody sleeping. I talked to Democrats, you didn't see it coming. And look, my nemesis at work was the union. but I understood the importance of the union. So when Act 10, those protests, I was up in Madison protesting Act 10. It was too late then. It's a done deal.
Right.
But, so
he told y'all what he was going to do and y'all still voted
well,
for
he
him.
didn't tell us about Act 10. Nobody saw it. Now, Scott Walker didn't mention Scott.
But he talked about the unions. He did talk about the unions.
Talk about the unions, but nobody thought he'd go in and not allow unions to be able to do collective bargaining on like government unions not being able to do collective bargaining. Didn't see that coming. And then that's the thing, because when Barrett was in office, he didn't have to negotiate with the other unions. The only unions they had to negotiate with was police and fire, who's really going to stick you up.
Yeah.
So yeah. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning. You're on air.
Good morning. This is the Reverend Dr. Andrew Ward. And my feelings are hurt again because y'all was talking to some people this morning. I couldn't get in. I called 100 times. Anyway, I'm agnostic, which means I'm looking for the truth. And I don't see a lot of difference in all of these religions, which are basically the same. Love the brother, don't kill, don't steal, and all of the good stuff, but nobody abides by that. And as far as who is the captain in a relationship, the woman or the man, historically, from experience, the woman always run things, but she had a technique to use where the man would think he did something. When I was in college, I wanted to get good grades, and I was told, or I read somewhere, that the person with the C average, Jerry Jones, for example, would be in charge and hire the person with the A average to do the things he can't do. And
smart to me.
To Keith Parris, I asked you before, and I wonder, have you realized yet? We live in a plutocracy. Money runs it all.
Oh.
And y'all have a good one.
Thank you for that Wu-Tang reference. Cash rules everything around me.
Dollar bill, y'all.
Come on, man. If wars are not fought over principles, wars fought over land and resources. It's about the dollar bill. This election was about the dollar bill for some folks, right? So yeah, man, he's right. Cash rules everything around me.
Maybe you can compare a relationship to, chess and the pieces. The queen can move everything, but you lose when you checkmate the king.
Yeah.
And the king can only go one space. Now it could go one space, in what either direction, but that queen, yeah. So maybe you can look at it that way.
Hey, you can double, triple move. You can only do that though when you've been crowned, right? For checkers.
Yep. For checkers, that when you've been crowned, whatever, you can go.
You can go backwards.
No, you can
go backwards. No, you can go sideways too.
Whatever you can.
Right. Yeah.
So when you're crowned.
But when you don't, you could double jump, but it just got to be in order.
Be in the space. Yeah.
Boom, boom. Well, you can't unless the space is there anyway, right? It's been so long, man.
Well, yeah. You could jump like that, and then jump backwards to when you're crowned.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Mr. John's barbershop was the first barbershop I went to as a kid.
Playing checkers.
Yeah, and I didn't play. I watched the old men play checkers. Oh, yeah. I just love being in the barbershop. And once my mom took me there once, and after that, it was only 2 blocks from the house. I walked to the barbershop. Man, nothing like being in the barbershop.
Yeah, man, because you hear everything.
Oh, you hear everything in the barbershop, dude. It'd just be going like, oh, okay. But for young men like myself, who didn't have that necessarily male presence in the home, the barbershop, it served an important purpose because, like I said, I couldn't wait to learn how to play checkers because I'd be watching these dudes.
Checkers was always easy for me. I didn't learn how to play chess until I became an adult.
I still don't know how to play chess.
Man, I'd learned.
They always talked about seeing moves ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And then I relate that to basketball, being able to see the plays ahead. chess, I can see a couple plays ahead, but like I'm the GOAT when it comes to Connect Four. You know what I mean? So I could see plays ahead and Connect Four. So like I relate that back to chess. Like when you become the real master when you can see multiple plays ahead, and then also you can anticipate what your opponent is thinking. You know, so I could do that with Connect Four. It's less pieces, it's still conventional, but chess is so many pieces and so many moves that they commit on top of. Is this person laid back or is this person aggressive? You know, so
do you ever play Chinese checkers?
Now I tried that, and that's so hard, man. Chinese checkers is hard,
bro.
Because you used to back in the day, you get the checkerboard, and on one side it would be regular checkers, and then on the other side it'd be Chinese checker. No, or chess or Chinese checkers, right? Or chess.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't, man. I'm not. There's a certain logic flow that goes into chess and algorithms and all these things, and my mind is not mathematical enough to be able to.
I actually need to start back playing chess again, just because it gets your brain still stimulated.
So there you go. Ouch! Already heard.
Yeah, like thinking.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a strain. I'm gonna be sore, man.
So what about Uno? Is anybody good at Uno? Because I'm the master.
But it's the black Uno, or it's the regular Uno.
So we talking about Second and Keith Uno.
So y'all just be stacking cards on cards on cards. You know what I'm saying?
Bow. Now I play a game with Kennedy called Jump, and Jump is a ad, and we're on ones right now. So pretty soon we're gonna get on twos. And the object is to get all the cards out your hand, right? So if I put down a 4, what numbers can you use? I put down a 4. You're adding by 1, subtracting by 1. I put down a 4.
5 or 6
or 6
or 3
or 3
right.
or 2.
And that's the whole game.
Oh.
And at first she play with me, Poppy. Like I don't. Then after a while, it's like okay.
So then, what do the aces and
the aces would be the frog? So the frog can be whatever you want the frog to be.
What about jacks and queens?
No. This is 1 to 10.
Okay,
1 to 10, and then you get 6 frogs. Yeah, you get 6 frogs. So I figured it out.
So that's like a wild card. Ace is like a wild card,
right?
Okay.
And so you then call out the number, and but again, I tell the story. Kennedy is so busy trying to look like she playing spades, so she going through her cards. And I said, if you slow down, you just pass 4, But she's sitting up here, and then got to talk crazy. You going damn? You going damn?
That's cute.
Oh man, but it at first I hated it, but then it is. So once we get past ones, I think we're past ones now because we got to get her math skills up. She's at a 1st grade level. She's at 2nd grade level of reading. We need to get her up to 2nd grade in math, and so we'll probably go to 2s, and then it'll be. So she's getting it, because she hasn't in kindergarten. You don't do subtraction, and you haven't gotten to that point yet, right? Doing math, so. All right. Hey, I got to cut out a little bit early. I need to get up to my buddy's mom's funeral. So I want to thank everybody for being part of us this week. Jermaine, Debo, DJ, everybody. We got through it, didn't we?
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. But life goes on. Got to keep on moving forward.
Life goes on.
Worry. We were thinking about that.
Ain't that the Al Green song?
No. Yeah. But ain't no need to worry.
What mine's gone, it'll be all over.
Be all over in the morning.
Is that Anita Baker and the Winans?
Yeah, yeah.
Anita Baker and the Winans. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's old.
Appreciate you.
Yep, no problem. 414-444-5250. 414-444-5250. Phone lines are open. Just recapping the election, and then also touching base on some, religious aspects of, the outcome of the election, and then also just what happens throughout our voyage through life.
Man, again, man, I was very saddened about how some of our young Black men was speaking about our beautiful Black queens. One in particular, Kamala, or Kamala, is Kamala, right? Kamala.
I think it's
Kamala.
Kamala.
Yeah,
it's Kamala.
It's Kamala. I'm sorry. It's Kamala. And how they spoke about her and what they didn't want and how she's a woman. They don't want her telling them what to do. And it's just some of our people, because I'm not going to say everybody, but some of our people, it's just brainwashed, man.
Yeah, they fall for semantics.
Yeah.
But like I said, the lack of knowledge in many cases, especially when it comes to civics, is the reason why certain people are able to be in positions and others aren't.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. If they can keep you thinking a certain way, and
this thought just came to me. Is ironic that two of the most qualified candidates lost to the most
come on, man, think about it.
Unqualified candidate.
Yeah.
Which okay, that happened once, but who would have thought it would happen again?
Twice.
And it did. And then on top of that, it being two women that actually lost. So
that's why I'm like, I really think that it's a hidden agenda somewhere in this equation, because when you have somebody that's qualified and that got history in this thing, and the first time around, okay, maybe it was a strike of luck, but the second time around, come on, and y'all know this guy's not qualified. People that used to work for this guy came out and said he wasn't qualified, and some of the stuff,
felon.
And that's the cherry on top of the cake.
I mean, we can't get convicted felons. Convicted felons probably can't work in fast food restaurants. Yeah, the grocery store. It's a lot of hoops and hurdles that felons have to go through just in order to attain employment. So the fact that dude can be president,
and that's what tripped me out, man. Because first of all, if that type of stuff, if they didn't care anything about it, they wouldn't ask you, are you a felon? They wouldn't ask you, are you black or white?
Right.
They wouldn't ask you, are you a male or whatever?
Right.
Because it's a reason behind those things.
It matters.
It matters to them. And to us, they painted like, oh, well, it don't necessarily affect, when you in the job training and you in the training, and they give you all of this. It don't affect if you have a felon. Just let us know, because we just want to know. That's cap.
It just goes back to that saying, you got to work twice as hard just to get half. And, what's the point of working twice as hard if, you're only going to get half? That's the part where, why do I keep moving forward or wanting to keep expressing hope if, I'm only going to keep getting slighted? Caller, thank you for your patience. You're on there.
Hey, what's up, my brother?
Good morning.
Morning. I look at it like this. You got to understand that the New World Order is something else. You have to understand that Trump came worse than he came the first trip. He got more disrespectful. The commercials they played with deportation mainly showed black people. Transgender commercials mainly showed black people. So Mexicans figured that they weren't talking about us, but they was indirectly speaking about us and talking straight to them. So it's a lot of brainwashing that goes on. And I like to say hello to the little sneaky listeners to listen to our shows, and do crazy stuff through our shows as we speak, my brother. So re-listen to the shows and you'll hear everything they do. So that's another secret. But we must stay strong, stay black, stay powerful. I'm out.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it is, like I said, 2016 was more of a visceral effect as far as emotions and everything. Tuesday, it was just more of like a somber disappointment. but we understood it. This the end. All right, so this is the end of our program. I would say today will never come again. Be a blessing because life is, which means you are. Encourage someone because one day you'll need the same. Let your words heal, and soon your wounds will too. Don't be ashamed by shortcomings because through that pain, there's a lesson gained. If there's no honesty, there's no growth. To become a better you, it's essential to have both. That is a note to self. Peace and love. Good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. Keith will be back on Monday. And as always, go from this place in peace.